The Witcher is starting to get as dramatic as the continent. In October, series star Henry Cavill announced he was leaving Geralt and handing over his role to Liam Hemsworth. It's always shocking when a big star leaves an iconic role, but when it comes to Henry Cavill's relationship with The Witcher, the writing has been on the wall for a while. As sad as it is to see Cavill go, the star has been hinting at his frustration behind the scenes for years. On Saturday, October 29, Cavill announced that he would step down as Geralt of Rivia after The Witcher Season 3. Instead, Liam Hemsworth would face White Wolf swords. In today's video, we're going to tell you the real reason why Henry Cavill is leaving The Witcher. But before that, if you're new to this channel, please hit the subscribe button for more entertaining videos and press the bell icon to get the latest video updates every time we drop something new. As upsetting as this news has been for fans of the show, it's not entirely surprising. Cavill has been quietly hinting for years that he's not happy with the creative director of Netflix original. Cavill has always been a fan first when it comes to The Witcher. It's widely known that he's a fan of the CD Projekt Red games, and roughly a year after it was announced that Netflix would be moving forward with the Witcher TV series, Cavill started to actively campaign for the role. "I pursued, Cavill recalled for a feature with The Hollywood Reporter. "The man loves Geralt and Andrzej Sapkowski's brutal world." But during the show's Season 2 press tour, the cracks between Cavill's true love for Geralt and showrunner Lauren Schmidt-Hissrich's vision for the show began to appear. In the same feature, Hissrich revealed that Cavill sent him several notes about Geralt's dialogue for Season 2. Everybody came out of Season 1 laughing and loving Geralt's fuming, but Henry was saying that when you read the books, you spend a lot of time in Geralt's head, so how can we put that on the page, Hissrich said. During an interview with Philstar, Cavill clarified that he not only wanted more lines in Season 2, but he wanted to create a more accurate Geralt. It's a fair complaint. As Cavill pointed out, the book version of Geralt is much more complicated than the Netflix version. He often philosophizes and has some interesting thoughts about the gray areas between good and evil that he tends to occupy. Of course, the novels have the critical silences and growls that define this character, but the Geralt book is just as good as emo growls as it is at moody monologues and sarcastic jokes. "It's important for me to have the character to be three-dimensional," Cavill said in December of 2021. "And it's tricky to do, as I was saying earlier, because there's a certain vision and there's a certain set and storyline and plot. And so it was about me trying to find Geralt's place within that. All of my asks and requests were along the lines of just being faithful to the source material." Ever since Henry Cavill was first cast as Geralt of Rivia, he's talked time and time again of his love for all things Witcher. "I really enjoy playing these kinds of games and reading these kinds of books in my spare time," he said as far back as 2019 via Hobby Consoles. "I don't consider it a job," Cavill continued. "For me, it's more like an extraordinary opportunity to live my childhood and adult fantasies." And that's why it's so surprising that Henry is no longer involved with the show beyond the third season. It's time to stop throwing those parts at Cavill, because on October 29, 2022, Netflix revealed that Geralt had been recast for Season 4 with Liam Hemsworth, The Hunger Games, now set to play the titular White Wolf. In an official statement following this big reveal, our new Geralt said he's over the moon about the opportunity to play him. That's lovely, but a lot of fans have already made it clear they're not happy with this change. As Liam himself said, he has some big boots to fill, and for most viewers, it's impossible right now to imagine anyone other than Cavill in the role. Well, in his own statement, Cavill was generally kind enough to leave the show and wished Liam all the best in replacing him. "In my stead, the fantastic Mr. Liam Hemsworth will be taking up the mantle of the White Wolf. As with the greatest of literary characters, I pass the torch with reverence for the time spent embodying Geralt and enthusiasm to see Liam's take on this most fascinating and nuanced of men. Liam, good sir, this character has such a wonderful depth to him. Enjoy diving in and seeing what you can find." Upon hearing the news, most fans immediately thought that Henry Cavill's departure from The Witcher might have something to do with his other signature role. And the timing of this announcement was curious. Just this week, Henry finally returned as Superman in Black Adam's mid-credits scene. It's been a long time for fans in Cavill. He's the perfect Superman. And Henry has certainly established himself as a fan favorite in the role, despite DC's larger universe-building issues. Things seem to be changing at Warner Brothers now that Worlds of DC is under new management, and Superman's return could be one of them. After all, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson just revealed that he's fought for years to bring Cavill back, and Henry has since confirmed that his cameo was just a little taste of things to come. "The character means so much to me," Henry said just recently to the Happy Sad Confused podcast. "It's been 5 years now. I never gave up hope. It's amazing to be here now talking about it again. There's such a bright future ahead for the character. I'm so excited to tell the story with an enormously joyful Superman." Cavill has long made it clear that he's extremely interested in reprising the role of Superman, and with renewed interest in the character's bright future, that certainly could have played a role in his departure from The Witcher. News of Henry's exit came as a particular surprise to fans who remember him once saying that he was willing to stay on board for a full 7 seasons. However, there was a caveat to all of this. Cavill was happy to continue playing Geralt as long as we can keep telling great stories which honor author Andrzej Sapkowski's work. It's a point actors often make, but given Henry's dedication to the role, it's one we're inclined to believe more than usual here. "I'm a huge fan of the books and staying loyal to them," reiterated Cavill on The Witcher's YouTube channel. "It's about making sure that story happens without too much in the way of diversions or side things going on to muddy the waters." Henry himself has actively fought to keep Netflix's The Witcher faithful to the books. While promoting Season 2, Cavill told Total Film, "This season, I really wanted to make sure that we represented the book's Geralt more accurately and that we saw him speak more. I pushed really hard for that." So you have an actor who loves this role on a personal level, is dedicated to the source material, and has a history of disagreements with the showrunner. This actor is also a bankable movie star with a huge fan base, and is probably the main reason why some fans even watch this show. And this showrunner took some wild turns with the source material from day one. 9 times out of 10, it's an equation that ends in an exit for creative differences. As much fun as it was for Cavill to live out his childhood and adulthood fantasies, it seems he's had enough of not being able to play Geralt the way he wants. That in itself is not necessarily a bad thing. Writers and actors won't always see eye to eye, and sometimes the writer's room can get a bigger picture that even someone as involved as Cavill might not be aware of at first. However, new quotes from writer Beau DeMayo suggest that some of The Witcher's team might not respect the source material in the same way that Henry obviously does. Perhaps The Witcher's Season 4 will be a surprise prequel series about young Geralt, thus the younger replacement. Perhaps one day, Cavill will return to retrieve the 2 swords from him. Perhaps future seasons will take place in an alternate universe that explains this brutal overhaul. But for now, The Witcher losing his figurehead and his biggest fan is a devastating blow. But whatever happens, it's hard to imagine The Witcher continuing for long without Henry. No matter how good or bad Liam Hemsworth turns out to be in that role, it's a role that seems impossible to imagine right now without Cavill and that adorable musty old wig. There are always basic theories to consider. Cavill could leave the show due to contract negotiations, personal reasons, or simply because he wants a break. But his current filming schedule means the last 2 options are not likely. That's it for today. Let us know your views in the comment section below. Click the like button if you enjoyed the video and share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe.